Nikolic from Cypress. Has worked at Cypress Semiconductor since 1997 in, I don't know, every role under the sun. He's currently CAD director at Cypress and is responsible for a team of 35 to 40 engineers developed and supporting all of their methodologies. Dragomir has a BS in electrical engineering from University of Kentucky. He's been a long time IC Manage user, and we're very grateful that he's got up here and share some of his insights with all of you.
At Cypress Semiconductor, we've dealt with the IP reuse and IP management for many, many years. Unlike Kelvin, I was too embarrassed to actually put exactly how many years, so I wrote 10 plus years ago. We actually had our own CDF-based solution, almost exactly similar to yours. Actually recognized dollar IDs from back in those days, so there you go. About 10 years or so, give or take, we have moved to the first commercial product that was available at the time, and it significantly improved our life in general, improved the stability, improved the feature sets. One of the bad things that we have noticed with that particular solution was the scalability. It was just non-existent. We would actually grow our number of servers so much faster than we could actually maintain the data on it. It was just getting unwildly and out of control. Shortly after that, IC Manage came into the picture about 6+ years ago, I would say. And that's at the time that we actually started working with these guys to figure out what is their advantage and what can we leverage from their product portfolio. As we rolled out IC Manage, and it was, for Cypress is one of those companies that we don't go piecemeal. We're either a hook, line, and sinker, or we just don't do it at all. So IC Manage became literally overnight a mandate. We decided it was the solution for us, and we went full tilt to deploy it. It was incredible to see it, how quickly we ramped it up. Literally, we have reduced 30x of our servers in our data centers. We have improved our support by an additional 2x over the previous solution, or about 4x from our original implementation internally. And the performance has definitely gone through the roof. We have definitely noticed significant improvement in user satisfaction. People didn't even know what they were really missing until they started working with the IC Manage. One of the big things that IC Manage brought to the table for us many years ago was the configuration management. We used to have our own configuration management on top of the EDA solution. However, once it was embedded in part of the system, it truly enabled the real IP reuse, and I'll talk about it in a couple more minutes. So Cypress, in a nutshell, this is us. We used to have many more design centers, but even with the advent of a reliable management solutions, so data management solutions, we actually consolidated. We have gone from about 14 design centers in the past to about 6. That seems to be a certain critical mass of a design center to be fully functional and capable. So today, Cypress sits at 6 design centers worldwide. The green arrows represent the contributors of the IP and developers, which check in the data to our standards repository, and then out of there, full chip groups pull the data. It happens every which way possible you can imagine. It is synchronous, it's asynchronous, it happens all times day or night. People are taping it all around the world, and if you just picture this, try to picture this in your head and try to imagine in any way, shape, or form, it quickly falls apart unless you have a very robust, reliable system to enable your teams. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about, in a nutshell, what does reliable system and a solution mean for the IP reuse. I made a couple of assumptions in this presentation, which are biggies, don't get me wrong. These are very important things, they're very important concepts that you have to solve before the IP actually works for you. Product family architecture with the proper IP partitioning has to be written up front, well-defined, and followed by everybody. That includes both the software and the hardware. Competent IP owners have to be there, have to be present and ready to execute. At Cypress, we call them the teams of experts. We actually have teams that are responsible for one type of IP product. They're not large teams, they're usually fairly small. They range between 2 people up to 10 or 12 people, but all they do is that one particular type of IP. So they go from generation to generation, learning and growing and improving their business process as well as their knowledge of what it means to be an ADC expert, a PLL expert, whatever else it may be. Finally, the big assumption here is that you can manage your own risk. You have to control how many new processes are you introducing, technology processes, how many new IP blocks per design are you actually trying to deploy. Think about it. If you have modern SoC, give me a number, 60, 70, 80 IP blocks on it. What's the success of any given IP block working the first time around? If you're really good, right, like really good at your job, it's like 60, 70, 80%, right? Take a number of blocks, raise it to that power, and odds are astronomical that your chip is not going to work. So managing how much new IP at high risk you put on a chip is absolutely critical. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, I'll talk about the execution challenges themselves. So at Cypress, we have this word survival kit. It's kind of a military term for don't give me a field guide that's 120 pages long. Give me 4 or 5 things that you think about. So I tried to put those things down for you guys just as a quick reference. Unified high performance and capacity revision control management system. Critical, crucial, it's a stone and a foundation of your business process. We saw a GTR downstairs, which I certainly appreciated. I love that. But believe me, a GTR is not good enough. You have to put together a quality business process that will sit around your GTR or a driver, in this particular case, to achieve results. On the top of that, you've got to have a unified buggy communication or notification system so that all your IP developers, as well as the full chips around the world, are aware of what's going on with which particular piece of IP and what is their status. Communication language. I didn't know how better to put this in any other terms, but at Cypress we use very standard communication language for the IPs. Milestones are uniform across the board for all the IP. Don't forget the software and the firmware, exactly the same story, right? Directory structure is exactly the same. You choose to follow IP exact or not, or you choose to follow some other directory structure, which we do, by the way. IP exact was born a long time after we invented ours. What this enables you to do is actually, any piece of IP that comes to you, you know exactly where to go and locate the data. Deliverables themselves, the cells of the IP itself, right? You have to have standards, meaning what are they delivering in terms of a quantity. What I mean by that is how many views are they delivering, what types of views, right? But just having a left-def file, GDF file, GDS file, a schematic, and so on is not adequate. It's really important is to establish certain quality aspects of what they're supposed to deliver, IP developers around the world. And if you can put some automation in place, that's a huge win, right? There's no comparison. In Cypress, actually, we have a mechanism in the system where every IP developer has to meet that platform bar. That starts with the timing, with the power, with the types of views they have to deliver, as well as the quality of those views. Just having a spice and atlas is not good enough, right? It's got to contain certain data in it. It's got to meet a certain set of requirements. And finally, unified execution tracking system. So years ago, we would cut our IP developers loose. They would go on their own. We would find out about 2 days before the tape out, it ain't gonna happen. We have IPs all over the world, they're just not ready, right? So you have to roll up all this data somehow in some visual manner so that you can keep track of what's going on, which IPs are slipping, which ones are having problems, and be able to deploy the resources, optimize their particular part of the equation, because any one of those IP blocks that's in the critical path, your project's going to blow up. And finally, I mentioned, and this is learned through many whippings and bleedings, verification IP, software and firmware, they have to be treated exactly the same way. They're not red-headed stepchildren. They have to fall into the exact same equation, same picture. Okay, I think I'll stop there. How's that?
That sounds great. Thank you.